Good morning, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to speak today. My name is Dr. Belle Moyers, and I'm a resident in District 10, Dr. David Cole's district. I'm here to ask you to please oppose HB 405. I'm a trans woman and a professional biologist. In biology, we define sex in many ways. We sometimes define sex based on chromosomes, XX or XY. We sometimes define it based on gametes, which is something close to what this bill does. We also sometimes define sex based on appearance or behavior, the presence of breast, other body patterns, or even behaviors and how people interact with others. These are only a few of the definitions of sex that we use, and when they disagree, they result in individuals being categorized as intersex or people with differences in sexual development. Estimates of the number of intersex people vary based on different definitions, and this bill does not precisely define what that term means. This bill does, however, classify all of those folks as disabled and would immediately define as many as 85,000 Alabama citizens as disabled and require new accommodations be made by any institutions covered by the Americans with Disabilities Act. I do wonder how that will impact Alabama economically. In biology, you have to choose the most appropriate definition for your question. Choosing the wrong definition leads to bad science. In law, choosing the wrong definition leads to injustice. This bill is not about biology. It masquerades as biology. It tries to use a technical definition, but it's not the right one. This bill uses an arbitrary aspect of a person's biology to regulate social spaces. It's the government sticking its nose in to all of our lives to make them more dangerous and, frankly, more annoying. This bill is big government examining and classifying your body, your wife's body, your husband's body, and your child's body. If it passes, it will be telling my friends, my family, my coworkers, and my community, we don't care that you accept Belle as who she is. You will have to use our definition and you will obey our mandates.
I'm a Madison County resident, born and raised Baptist and represented Rigsby's district. I went to Bob Jones High School and graduated UAH, and now I've put down roots there as an engineer supporting Resident Arsenal. I love Huntsville and I love Alabama. I love the community I've found there, the friends I've made, the family who, thank God, still accept me as their own. I'm a car girl. I've done a few engine rebuilds with my dad. I'm really into music, marched trombone through high school, and I continue to play to this day. And I'd love to go on hikes with friends around our local Alabama trails. I'd love to go on and on about why I love life in Alabama, but it's not why I'm here today. Y'all probably already know this, but I'm a trans woman. I ran from that realization for years because I, like many of us are led to believe, thought that it was morally wrong. I was sure transition wouldn't be possible for me and would ruin my life. But thankfully that wasn't true. And thankfully, stubborn as I was, God finally got me to see the light of the truth of who He really made me, not what any man said I was supposed to be when I was born. That realization and my resulting gender transition have improved my life in more ways than I can name in the time allotted for one public comment. I'm more fulfilled in my life now than ever before, and I see God's purpose for me clearly now. I've been living as a woman for over a year, including using women's restrooms once it became apparent that I wasn't welcome in men's anymore. And nobody's had any issue with it. When washing my hands, I've had old ladies compliment my hair or my outfit out of the blue and try and make me feel good about myself and included in our community like any other young woman. I know from living womanhood that it's right for me and that my doing so is absolutely not harmful to those around me. It's also become abundantly apparent that this is what God intended for my life. I actually want to live my life now, unlike before transition. Unfortunately, HB 405 is going to make life in Alabama unsafe and unlivable for me and all trans Alabamians. It would be used to force trans women like myself into bathrooms with men and trans men into bathrooms with women. Plus, it would backfire and encourage the policing of everyone's use of the restroom, trans or not. Furthermore, it would be used to place trans men into women's prisons and trans women like me into men's prisons, which is an inherently dangerous situation for us. And we've already seen how the policing of bathrooms like this has excluded women who aren't trans from their own spaces because they don't look feminine enough. So for the good of us all, we should really keep what's private, private. And as an Alabamian and as an American, I think we should keep Uncle Sam out of our pants.
Good morning, and thank you for providing time for public comment. My name is Andrea. I'm a trans woman. I'm from David Cole's district. I'm sorry he wasn't able to appear today. I'm an aerospace engineer who works on Redstone Arsenal, and I'm here today to oppose HB 405. HB 405 states that sex is defined at birth, that females are those with ovaries while males have testes, and that women are human females where men are human males. It then goes on to note that it is important for state law to distinguish between men and women with respect to prisons, detention centers, and bathrooms. This bill suggests that people should be reduced to their gonads and sorted accordingly. It suggests that a trans woman who has been on estrogen for decades and has gotten surgery to replace her genitals with a vagina should be placed in a prison among men. It suggests that a trans man who has been on testosterone for years, a man with a full beard, and a deep masculine voice should use the women's restroom. This is deeply inappropriate. This bill seeks to solve a problem that does not exist. It implies that I, as a trans woman, am transitioning for nefarious purposes. That all the hormones, voice training, hair removal, legal red tape, clothing, and makeup that I put up with is done not because I find it affirming, but because I desperately want to wait in that long, long bathroom line outside of the ball game. I am transitioning because I am a woman. I decided to undergo transition after intense and agonizing consideration. My body and mind are becoming aligned, and I feel more alive than ever. I implore you, vote no against this bill. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out this is bad legislation, but here I am anyway. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. I'm here to present HB 405, which is What is a Woman Bill. It's also known as the Women's Bill of Rights. And if you'd like to go to womensbillofrights.com, you can read all about details regarding this bill, which is making a movement around the country. Who would have thought it would be necessary to define age-old terms such as male, female, mother, and father? But when a Supreme Court justice cannot define what a woman is, the time has come to do something. We know common sense and science must prevail. The purpose of my bill is to codify definitions for some sex-based terms into state law. Male, female, man, woman, mother, father, sex are all defined for the purpose of this bill. Common sex-based words are used thousands of times in state law, but recently activists have sought to redefine these words and separate sex from biology. So why do we need this bill? If we don't codify the definition of common sex-based terms, laws that prohibit sex discrimination will cease to mean anything at all, and single-sex private spaces will disappear. This bill does not create any special rights for women or create any new rights at all. It simply clarifies the meaning of current sex-based laws.
Thank you so much for holding this hearing. I want to thank you, Representative DuBose, for bringing this legislation. Alabama must respect scientific truth. One of the absolutes in science is the determination of sex at birth. The scientific differences are real. Every cell in the human body is coated with DNA that specifically identifies the sex by an XX or an XY chromosome. Hormones and surgeries do not alter our female or male DNA. I had the opportunity to testify during the women's sports bill, and I think you have the flyer in front of you. There are real differences, physical differences between a man and a woman. For example, on average, men are physically stronger than women. Men have 66% more upper body muscle than women, and 50% more lower body muscle. There's a 10% performance gap between male and female athletes in most sports, and it hasn't narrowed when women train the hardest. There are more facts on the sheet for you to look at. But the differences are real. But beyond that, girls and women are harmed when sex is redefined because we lose our privacy. Ignoring the true biological differences between the sexes exposes females to specific forms of violence, including sexual violence, compromises the safety of female-only spaces like bathrooms, domestic violence shelters, rape crisis centers, and prisons. So Eagle Forum stands with women in Alabama for their right to privacy, safety, and dignity in single-sex spaces, and we support this legislation to update Alabama law with clear scientific definitions of men and women. This law simply codifies biological reality.